My guest today is Dr. Kevin Kolack. Dr. Kolack is a man who wears many hats and has worn many more, and he's going to talk a little bit about the experiences he's had in a great number of fields. Kevin, hi.
Good to be here.
You sort of came home and settled on being an actor and a New York City voiceover artist and have done very well. How did you make so many turns? What was behind each of these decisions? Let's just run through them. You were an EMT.
Firefighter.
A volunteer firefighter, a New York City cab driver for a while.
Yep.
And you were also a chemistry professor, and you're still teaching chemistry at a couple of the universities in the New York area. When did the dream of being a performer sort of get put aside step by step, and when did it rekindle? How was that mixed in with all these decisions?
It's a question of what do you think you can be versus what do other people think that you should be. And growing up in the public school system in Georgia as a smart kid, or at least the classwork came easily to me, I didn't understand that I could be a performer. If you were smart, you were a doctor, or a lawyer, or a scientist. And so that was my path. I took college prep courses and I went to college, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I took everything that I could in college and graduated from college and still didn't know what I wanted to do. So went to graduate school because I had gotten my BS in chemistry, my minor in Buddhism, and thought, well, let's go to grad school and get a PhD. And halfway through grad school, again, doing all of these different things that I wanted to do, I saw a little ad in the paper, interested in performing, come listen to this guy talk in Bedford, Indiana. And I met you there and thought, well, this resonates with me. I realized that I was in graduate school teaching so that I had a captive audience. It's a strange route, perhaps, pursuing stand-up chemistry to enter the performing arts.
Stand-up chemistry, I like that. All the things that you undertook in the past 20 years or so on your way to becoming an actor, and while you were being an actor, how much of that was because you were drawn to those other things, and how much of that was because you were afraid to fully commit? Was there some fear to fully committing?
Eric Bana, a relatively famous actor who started out as a stand-up comic and soap opera actor in Australia, said, go out and have a life before you try and put one on screen. And I thoroughly believe that to be the case.
You were in a film fairly recently called Blue Ruin, and you had a wonderful part. It was an independent film, and I know that it won some awards, some of the festivals.
Well, it is currently on Netflix's list of films that are on Netflix that you haven't seen, that you really should see.
Yes, I think I've seen
Quite
that,
a few
actually.
of those.
Yes, that was terrific. How much of you do you bring into an interview and an audition?
But what else do I have?
Well, technique, tricks, skill, clever things to say. But how much?
Like all of it, it's bringing your experience to it so that what works for you. When I'm teaching chemistry, I say that to chemistry students. I don't care how you do this problem. I can show you the way my brain breaks it apart and approaches it, but yours may work differently. So do it your way. You need to know what works for you. And you walk into the room prepared and bring you. Have I ever been kidnapped and thrown in the trunk of a car like was my audition scene for Blue Ruin? No. I have had a gun in my face. Was that part of my prep and recalling that incident while I was working on the script? Sure. Did I bring it into the audition room? No. But all these life experiences, the reason that you want to have a life before you put one on screen, color and add to it and allow you to bring something into your audition that they're maybe not expecting, that the 10 people before you didn't do, or the 10 people after you, in my case, since I was first in that audition.
How would you describe how that's been for you, being self-employed in the performing field, in terms of some of the things you've done that maybe you wish you hadn't done, maybe some of the things you've seen people do that they shouldn't have done, just some of your observations. You've got a lot of wisdom, you have a lot of experience.
When people are first starting out in acting, they always ask, oh, what are you going to fall back on? And the response to that is, don't have anything to fall back on, because if you do, you'll do it, because anything is easier than incessant rejection. Your job as a actor is to audition for free, and then every once in a while you finally get to work and have fun.
Tell me about fear. I know actors are afraid. I know that people base a lot of decisions on fear, and they don't always make the best decisions because of that. What do you think about that? What have you noticed about that?
There's a ton of fear in the business, and to deal with that fear, you have to be prepared, and you have to be confident, and you have to know who you are. And everyone thinks that they can be successful in this business because all you have to do is stand in front of a camera and talk, maybe be able to memorize a few lines. And in what other business is that the case? Yeah. I remember very early in New York overhearing a conversation. An actor said that he'd done 3 student films and he thinks he was really ready for network leading roles. He was a chiropractor in his everyday life. And I just thought, you are wasting everyone's time around you because you're just getting in the way. You're preventing me from being able to walk into an agent's office and say, hello, I'm Kevin Kolack, full-time actor. You know, I was reading the Hollywood Reporter at an audition, and another actor asked me what magazine I was reading, and I said the Hollywood Reporter, and he said, oh, well, what's that? That's the magazine that you read to find out what is happening in the business.
Most embarrassing or difficult or troublesome situation that you've ever been into, you ever encountered?
Good question.
Just for gossip.
I just had weird auditions, certainly. I've been on an audition where the audition was to stick your head in a fishbowl and hold your breath for as long as you could. I won, but I didn't get the part.
Kevin, I want to thank you. That was very helpful. I'm sure it's going to be very instructive for a lot of young people in a number of fields. My guest today, Dr. Kevin Kolack. Until next time, take good care of yourself.